Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. We unpack complex topics and pull out the most important insights just for you.
That's the goal.
So today, we're not just, dipping our toes into English. We're really plunging into the deeper currents.
Yeah, we're aiming high today, C1 and C2 proficiency levels.
Exactly. Our mission is to explore this really carefully chosen collection of powerful words, expressions, idioms, things that will help you articulate complex ideas.
And navigate those subtle social cues, right?
Right. And truly master that art of sophisticated communication. It's about moving beyond just getting by to really commanding the language with nuance and confidence.
Precisely. And, getting to C1 and C2 proficiency. Well, it's absolutely crucial for precision in communication.
Precision, right.
It's about more than just avoiding basic errors. It's about conveying the exact shade of meaning you intend.
Which is so important in, say, professional life.
Oh, absolutely paramount. Professional settings, academic discussions, any high-stakes environment, really, where misinterpretations can be, well, costly.
Yeah, makes sense.
It really boils down to how you say something, not just what you say.
Okay.
So in this deep dive, we'll uncover a kind of treasure trove, you could say, everyday words, but used in advanced ways.
Vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms.
Exactly. Things that bridge that gap between functional English and, truly fluent native-like understanding, giving you the tools to articulate complex ideas with real mastery.
Mastering everyday nuances and professional language.
Okay, so let's unpack this treasure trove. Let's start with a word that seems, well, deceptively simple: outgoing. On the surface, it makes you think of someone sociable, open, friendly, not shy. That's the first thought, isn't it?
Usually, yes. That's the most common meaning people learn first.
But the beauty of C1, C2 English, as you said, is how much more a word like this can carry. There's more to it.
Absolutely. While that sociable meaning is common, outgoing also carries this sense of finality. It describes someone leaving a high position.
Right, like an outgoing CEO or something.
Exactly. Consider this. Virtually the whole town turned out to see off the outgoing president.
Ah, okay. That's a completely different emotional landscape than, say, a friendly salesperson.
Totally different.
Yeah.
And that shift in context, what does it imply about how we should think about these words generally? It tells you context is king.
That's a great point. It implies C1, C2 isn't just knowing more words, but knowing how context completely transforms their meaning.
Yeah.
And outgoing gets even more diverse. Its third common meaning relates to mail. Mail that's destined to be sent.
Right, like in an office setting.
Yeah, you might hear letters which are to go off should be put in the outgoing tray. It's a clear functional distinction from incoming mail.
Very practical.
So, understanding the context is absolutely key here to avoid any confusion. You wouldn't want to accidentally send the incoming mail, would you?
No, definitely not. A critical distinction there. The surrounding words, the broader situation, that's what differentiates these meanings. Outgoing mail and outgoing president, they both use the word as an adjective describing something leaving, right?
Yeah.
But the type of thing leaving makes the meaning clear. The sociable meaning, though, that almost exclusively describes a person's personality.
Okay.
And this kind of nuanced contextual decoding is just fundamental for advanced comprehension.
Right. Diving deeper now into expressions for navigating maybe sensitive conversations or professional boundaries, let's tackle off the record versus on record.
Oh, good one. Crucial distinction.
So off the record means unofficial, something not to be made public. Often comes with a little disclaimer, like, don't tell anybody I said this, but...
That classic preface.
We see it in everyday advice. Off the record, I reckon you'd be better off going to your own bank rather than one of my clients.
Right, giving candid advice.
Or, in a confidential meeting, someone might say, anything that comes up during this meeting must be kept strictly off the record. It creates this sort of confidential bubble for candor.
Yeah, it allows for honesty.
But does that implicit trust, does it ever get betrayed? And how do people navigate that risk of sharing something off the record that then, surfaces?
That's a crucial point. The implicit trust you mentioned is precisely where the risk lies. There's always an element of vulnerability when you go off the record.
Because it relies on the other person keeping quiet.
Entirely. It relies completely on the listener's discretion. And this leads directly to on record. Because if that trust is broken,
Uh-huh.
What was said off the record can suddenly become very public, very undeniable once it enters the public domain. When you're on record, your words are documented, they can be held against you.
Right. Accountability.
Exactly. For a public figure, being on record means their statements carry the weight of accountability. An interviewer might press a politician, saying, "I'm not trying to catch you out, but you are on record as saying that inflation would plummet."
Mm-hmm. Holding them to their past statements.
Precisely. It ties their reputation, their credibility, directly to their stated positions. Any deviation can lead to accusations of inconsistency, even dishonesty. It just underscores the power and permanence of public statements.
Absolutely. Moving on, let's explore to baffle. Now, this isn't just about not understanding something, is it? It feels deeper.
Yeah, it conveys a deeper level of confusion, bewilderment almost.
So when something baffles you, it genuinely puzzles you. Like computers really baffle me. I'm not cut out for the modern age at all.
A common feeling for some.
Or I was baffled by her behavior. What do you think came over her? So you're saying baffle implies this more profound, persistent confusion.
Generally, yes.
Is it too strong if I'm just like momentarily lost trying to assemble some IKEA furniture? Or is it more for, say, a really complex philosophical problem?
That's a great distinction. It really depends on the depth of the confusion. For IKEA, maybe puzzled is better.
Unless it's truly defying all logic.
Right, unless it's truly defying all logic and you've assembled 50 other pieces perfectly. Baffle often implies an inability to comprehend the underlying logic or reason, a real sense of bewilderment.
Okay.
We see this powerfully illustrated in a football manager interview example. The coach admits, "Many people are baffled as to why you never made it as a regular first-team player." And his reason, "I didn't know how to go about adapting to new positions."
So his inability to adapt baffled people.
Exactly. It highlights how an inability to adapt or a deep lack of understanding of new demands can genuinely baffle observers, both in professional life and personal development.
You know, that makes me think about a story I heard
Yeah.
about a talented musician. Let's call him Alex. He was clearly in his element, playing guitar, just absolutely thriving.
Right, doing what he loved.
But his band, they sort of forced him into managing their finances, which really rubbed him up the wrong way.
Not his thing at all.
Not at all. He'd say it was just constant hardship trying to balance the books, deal with difficult venues, and he started losing his passion because he was so far out of his element, doing something that, frankly, just rubbed him up the wrong way.
How often do you see that push-pull in careers, where talent is stifled by roles that just don't fit and it feels like a real hardship?
Far too often, unfortunately. That's a perfect illustration of how deeply personal preferences affect one's sense of being in their element.
Yeah.
And when that's compromised, it can indeed lead to a profound feeling of hardship. The word hardship really differentiates from mere difficulty by emphasizing that element of suffering or significant personal cost.
It's more than just hard work.
Exactly. It speaks to a profound challenge. Remember the football coach we mentioned? He used it very insightfully when he said, young players will all have to go through a lot of hardship before they get to the top. Right, implying it's almost a necessary part of the journey.
Precisely. It illustrates the universality of hardship as a prerequisite for achievement in many fields. It's a powerful acknowledgement that success often demands resilience, enduring tough times. It underscores it's not a smooth path, but one paved with challenges.
Makes sense.
And when someone is in their element, they operate with this sense of ease, natural proficiency. It's where they genuinely shine. The opposite, like your musician Alex, well, that can truly rub them up the wrong way.
Exactly. Okay, from personal irritation to, well, accumulating tasks, let's discuss backlog.
The dreaded backlog.
Right. This refers to a large amount of work that is accumulated over time, or maybe a lot of people waiting to be dealt with. Most of us can relate to having a backlog of paperwork to get through.
Definitely.
But on a larger scale, news reports might state, the backlog of passport applications has caused millions of holidaymakers to miss their flights.
Yeah, big consequences.
It immediately signals this state of being overwhelmed, doesn't it? It implies a significant burden, whether on one person or a whole public service. Highlights pressure and inefficiency.
The term backlog profoundly conveys that sense of being overwhelmed, and its implications are far-reaching. For personal productivity, it means stress, delayed progress.
Yeah, that feeling of drowning in tasks.
Exactly. And for public services, it signifies inefficiency, frustrated citizens, potential crises even. It's a clear indicator of a system or person struggling to keep pace with demand, and it creates considerable pressure on everyone affected.
Okay, following that, we have up in the air, like this one. It's wonderfully visual.
It is, isn't it?
It means uncertain or unsettled, with decisions still pending, like everything's up in the air at the moment. I haven't got a clue what's going on.
A common state of affairs sometimes.
Or news reports often use it to describe unresolved situations. All decisions as to how to solve the problem have been left up in the air. It vividly conveys that state of unresolvedness, or suspended animation, maybe, common in planning, negotiations, political scenarios where outcomes are just unclear.
This phrase perfectly encapsulates that state of flux, of ambiguity, where nothing is decided or settled. In planning, it can describe projects where key elements are still, well, floating around unresolved.
Right.
In political scenarios, it might refer to policy decisions awaiting consensus or further debate. It conveys that feeling of suspended anticipation, where you're waiting for the metaphorical dust to settle before any clear direction emerges.
Yeah, for a fascinating rhetorical device, understatement.
Ah, yes, very useful.
This is a statement that doesn't go far enough or isn't
Right.
as strong as it should be. It's the opposite of exaggeration.
Right, saying less to mean more.
Exactly.
Uh,
It's often used for ironic or emphatic effect. If someone says, "To say that my French is not up to scratch" is an understatement. It means their French is actually...
Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Precisely. What's fascinating is how advanced speakers use this. It isn't just a rhetorical flourish, is it? It's more strategic.
Not at all. The beauty of understatement, especially at the C1, C2 level, lies in its ability to convey strong opinions or intense feelings with a certain sophistication.
Like a subtle power play.
In a way, yes. It implies the speaker trusts the listener's intelligence enough to grasp the unsaid magnitude, which often makes the implied criticism far sharper than any direct accusation.
Ah, interesting.
Think about a dialogue. If one person says, "Our team didn't put up much of a fight today," and the other replies, "That must be the understatement of the year. They were absolutely dreadful."
Right, the understatement actually amplifies the dreadful.
Exactly. It powerfully conveys a strong opinion, but subtly.
Okay, finally for this first chapter, let's discuss at stake. This is a powerful phrase. It means at risk, often referring to money, reputation, or something of significant value.
High stakes indeed.
A lawyer might tell a client, "It's not worth putting my career at stake over such a borderline case."
Warning about the potential cost.
Or a direct question might be, "Has it dawned on you exactly how much money is at stake here?" It immediately signals these high-stakes situations with potentially significant consequences for failure.
At stake is one of those phrases that inherently raises the tension in any conversation. It implies the outcome has considerable importance, substantial benefits to be gained, or severe losses to be incurred.
Right.
In a news report about MPs needing to brush up on languages, the warning was that there was a lot at stake in Europe.
Ah, connecting personal skills to bigger issues.
Exactly. It connects the personal stakes for individuals, their careers, their ability to do their jobs, to the broader context of international relations where national interests, stability are on the line. It's a constant reminder of the potential consequences in crucial situations. Really makes you consider the gravity of it all.
Problem solving, challenges, and personal reactions.
Okay, let's transition now into Chapter 2. Here we'll dive into expressions related to problem solving, challenges, and personal reactions. Let's start with to miss out, which has a couple of distinct uses. First, it can mean to omit or forget to include something. For example, when I was going through the list of people who've been invited, I noticed I had missed out your Uncle Tom.
Poor Uncle Tom.
Exactly. Here, it signifies an oversight, right? An accidental exclusion.
This specific usage of miss out focuses on the consequence of that oversight. Often accidental, as you say, leading to something or someone being excluded from a list, a plan, an event. It highlights the unintentional nature, but also the potential impact.
And then there's to miss out on. This means missing the opportunity of doing something enjoyable or beneficial.
The FOMO aspect, fear of missing out.
Right. Think of an adverb, maybe. Don't miss out on this one-off opportunity to get to grips with English company law. Or, more casually, if you don't turn up, you are bound to miss out on all the fun. It's about a lost chance, a valuable experience that won't be had.
And to explore that concept of missed opportunities further, we often talk about to miss the boat.
Ah, yes. Similar idea.
Similar meaning to missing out on an opportunity, yes. But it often carries this added implication that the chance is now, well, irretrievably lost because you didn't act quickly enough.
Right, a sense of finality.
Exactly.
Hmm.
This idiom frequently carries a sense of finality and regret.
Mm.
A quite poignant example is, my sister reckons she's missed the boat just because she's over 35.
Oof. Yeah, that implies a closed window.
It conveys a feeling that a particular window of opportunity, in this case maybe finding a partner, has closed forever. It underscores the importance of seizing opportunities as they might not come around again.
Right. Okay, from opportunities to core meanings, let's talk about gist. G-I-S-T.
The gist, yes, very useful word.
This word refers to the main point or the general sense of what someone is saying. It allows you to grasp the core message even if you don't catch every single word. So you might say, there are some words which I couldn't make out, but I got the gist of what he was going on about.
Right, you understood the main idea.
Or, the gist of his speech was that he felt hard done by. It's about distilling the essence of the communication. In our information-saturated world, mastering the gist feels like more than just a listening skill, doesn't it? It feels almost essential.
Absolutely. In a world drowning in data, mastering the gist isn't just a listening skill. It's, frankly, a survival mechanism.
Yeah, good way to put it.
It allows you to rapidly distill core intent from all the noise. That's a crucial skill for modern leadership and really for anyone trying to navigate the sheer volume of information we encounter daily.
Yeah.
It highlights the ability to comprehend the fundamental message without getting bogged down in every single detail. Enables you to engage with a conversation or a text even when minor ambiguities exist.
Now, for revealing inner truths, we have deep down.
Beneath the surface.
This phrase refers to one's true character or feelings, as opposed to their outward appearance or maybe superficial reactions. Like, he might make out that he takes it all in his stride, but deep down, he can't cope with what's going on.
Yeah, showing a hidden vulnerability.
Or, even though she comes over as a ruthless boss, deep down, she's quite easygoing. It adds the significant layer of psychological depth to descriptions, suggesting hidden qualities.
Deep down allows us to probe beneath the surface, doesn't it? Revealing a more authentic dimension of a person's being. It acknowledges that people often present a facade.
Right, a mask.
Exactly. But their true motivations, fears, or kindness reside within. This phrase is vital for nuanced character description, providing insights into the complexities of human nature, suggesting that outward behavior might not always reflect inner reality.
Yeah, encourages a bit more empathy.
It does. It encourages a more empathetic and insightful understanding of others, reminding us there's always more to a person than what meets the eye.
On the other hand, sometimes the best strategy is keeping a low profile.
Staying out of the spotlight.
Behaving in a way that doesn't attract attention, remaining unnoticed. If you're in trouble, someone might advise, if I were you, I'd keep a low profile for the time being.
Sound advice sometimes.
Or, I'm going to keep a low profile until everything is sorted out. This implies a strategic withdrawal, whether it's to avoid trouble, let a difficult situation blow over, or simply recover.
The strategic reasons for keeping a low profile are varied and important. It can be a protective measure when you're vulnerable, or a way to avoid making a tense situation worse.
Right, de-escalation.
Exactly. As illustrated in the diary entry example, I kept a low profile until the road blew over. It's a deliberate act of self-preservation or de-escalation. Highlights an understanding of social dynamics and, crucially, when to retreat from public scrutiny. It's about knowing when to step back and let things settle.
Okay. When it comes to resilience, to shrug off is a great phrase.
It is. Very expressive.
First, it means not to be affected by criticism or failure, or dealing with problems as though they don't exist. Like, he's been turned down by 5 universities, but each time he just picks himself up, shrugs it off, and gets on with the next application.
Well, that's resilient.
It speaks to a strong character trait, right, an ability to bounce back.
This highlights a crucial aspect of resilience. The capacity to emotionally detach from setbacks or negative feedback and just keep moving forward.
Not letting it define you.
Exactly. It's about not letting adversity define one's path. Furthermore, to shrug off also applies to physical recovery. Specifically, recovering quickly from a minor illness.
Ah, interesting. Like, I still haven't managed to shrug off this cold.
Precisely. This dual usage demonstrates the versatility of the phrase. It can express recovery from both emotional and physical setbacks. Makes it a very adaptable and insightful term for describing that quick bounce back.
Our next phrase, a foregone conclusion. This describes something that is certain to happen, or is just taken for granted.
Yeah, no suspense involved.
Right. Before an interview, you might think, I thought it was a foregone conclusion that they would take her on. It implies this sense of inevitability, a decision already made, even if not explicitly stated. Contrasts sharply with uncertainty.
A foregone conclusion signals that lack of suspense or any genuine possibility for a different outcome. It often carries a connotation of resignation, maybe, or expectation based on overwhelming evidence or established patterns. The diary entry example, my promotion was by no stretch of the imagination a foregone conclusion, directly highlights this. It emphasizes that the outcome was anything but certain.
Adds that layer of personal anxiety.
It does. It sets up an expectation that is then subverted, revealing the speaker's initial misjudgment or the actual uncertainty of the situation.
Okay, following that, we have the proactive idiom to nip it in the bud.
Preventative action. I like this one.
It means to deal with a problem at an early stage, before it escalates and becomes uncontrollable. Like, the gist of what she was saying was that we'd be better off nipping it in the bud now, rather than letting the problem grow as time goes by.
Stop it before it gets big.
It's a call to immediate preventative action.
This idiom emphasizes the strategic importance of early intervention in problem solving. It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
Right.
The diary entry reiterates this, where the boss advises, it was better to nip things in the bud now. This reinforces the idea that addressing issues promptly can prevent them from spiraling into much larger, more difficult to manage problems.
A place to work in personal life, really.
Oh, definitely. Whether in a professional setting or tackling personal habits, it's a fundamental principle of effective management and self-discipline that, let's be honest, we often wish we'd applied earlier to smaller issues before they ballooned.
True. Okay, to really emphasize a strong negative, we use by no any stretch of the imagination.
Very emphatic.
This means in no way, or definitely not, adds significant weight to a denial or a statement of impossibility. By no stretch of the imagination will I ever be fluent is a very strong declaration of perceived impossibility.
A firm statement.
We're not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination clearly states a lack of affluence.
This phrase is a powerful, emphatic negative. It leaves no room for doubt or ambiguity. When used, it creates this stark contrast between what might be imagined or hoped for and the definitive reality.
Like in the diary entry example again.
Right. My promotion was by no stretch of the imagination a foregone conclusion. It underscores the absolute lack of certainty regarding his promotion, highlighting the precariousness of his position and challenging any initial assumptions of inevitability.
So it really shuts down a proposition.
It does. It's a rhetorical tool to firmly shut down a proposition, emphasizing an undeniable truth.
Our next phrase, the final last straw, is an idiom that really packs an emotional punch.
The breaking point.
It refers to a negative event, possibly minor in itself, which follows a whole series of other negative events, leading to a situation that just can't be tolerated anymore.
Right, the one thing that pushes you over the edge.
Exactly. When the secret goings-on of the managing director came to light, that was the final straw. I had to give in my notice. It signifies that breaking point, the moment you're forced to take action.
A clear consequence.
Even in a lighter context, maybe. I wrote off her car last week. It was the final straw. That implies accumulated frustration, perhaps said with a mischievous smile.
This idiom conveys a profound sense of exasperation, doesn't it? The absolute limit of one's tolerance. It marks the culmination of a series of difficult or annoying events, pushing someone past their breaking point and prompting decisive action.
A turning point.
Often, yes. Often a turning point, signaling that a period of enduring hardship or annoyance has ended, leading to a significant change in behavior or circumstances. The emotional weight of the final straw is what makes it so impactful. It's that moment where a line is crossed and there's no going back.
Lastly, for this chapter, let's consider to weigh up. This means to balance or consider all aspects of a situation before deciding.
Deliberation, careful thought.
Having weighed everything up, we thought we'd be better off keeping a low profile. It implies this thorough, deliberative process essential for sound decision-making. But it also has a second meaning, to assess someone, to understand their potential opposition.
Right, like sizing someone up.
Exactly. Before the boxing match got underway, the two fighters carefully weighed each other up. This connects to strategic planning in competitive environments where understanding your opponent is crucial.
To weigh up is all about critical analysis and foresight. In its first meaning, it emphasizes a methodical, reasoned approach to decision-making, ensuring all pros and cons are considered.
Makes sense.
In the second meaning, it speaks to a strategic assessment of an adversary, gauging their strengths and weaknesses before engaging. This phrase is vital for expressing careful deliberation, whether in personal choices, business strategy, or competitive sports. Anywhere, understanding the full picture is paramount.
So it's about making informed choices, not just reacting.
Precisely, not just quick reactions.
Character, interaction, and business realities.
Okay, moving into Chapter 3 now. We'll explore character, interaction, and some business realities. Let's start with a crucial distinction between tactful and tactless communication.
Social intelligence. Very important.
To be tactful means being careful about what you say to avoid upsetting someone. For example, I think he has an uninviting, cumbersome style of writing, but it wouldn't be very tactful of me to tell him.
Choosing your words carefully.
This highlights that social intelligence required, especially in advanced social and professional settings where preserving relationships is key.
Indeed. Tactful communication is a hallmark of emotional intelligence and advanced interpersonal skills. It demonstrates an awareness of the other person's feelings and a desire to avoid causing offense, even when delivering difficult truths.
And the opposite.
Conversely, tactless describes someone who is not careful about what they say, often with negative consequences. The example, "I can't get over how tactless you are sometimes," fancy telling her she was only taken on as a dog's body.
Ouch. Yeah, that's tactless.
It powerfully illustrates the negative impact of such remarks on relationships and reputation. This difference underscores the profound impact our words can have.
Related to social interactions, to butt in. This means to interrupt a conversation.
A common annoyance.
Right. It's often used apologetically, like, sorry to butt in, but I just wanted to tell you that I'm popping out to get some tea bags.
Softening the interruption.
But it could also be used as a reprimand. Stop sulking. I only told you off because you should know how rude it is to butt in when I'm talking to someone. It highlights social etiquette and the need to acknowledge or correct interruptions politely.
To butt in speaks directly to the norms of conversational turn-taking. Knowing this idiom allows for a polite way to enter a conversation, or conversely, to signal that an interruption is unwelcome.
Even in professional settings.
Oh, yes. Like the musician interview example where the interviewer says, "Sorry to butt in, but you are on record as saying," even though it's necessary, it shows awareness of breaking the flow.
Yeah.
It indicates respect for conversational boundaries, which is a subtle but vital aspect of smooth interaction.
Here's a phrase with a longer-term perspective. To stand one in good stead.
Future benefits.
This means to be of good service to someone in the future, even if the experience seems unpleasant at the time. Like, looking back, it is only just beginning to dawn on me how my childhood hardships stood me in good stead later on in life.
Lessons learned the hard way, proving useful.
It suggests difficult experiences can build character or provide valuable lessons. Or, more simply, this handy computer will stand you in good stead when you've got a backlog of work to get through, meaning it will be a useful tool.
This phrase beautifully captures that idea of deferred benefit. It underscores the value of perseverance, often suggesting that current efforts or endured difficulties will yield positive results later on.
Like an investment.
Exactly. It's about foresight and recognizing the long-term returns on investments, whether in personal development, skill acquisition, or even physical tools. It provides a sense of hope and purpose during challenging times, knowing that what seems tough now could be your greatest advantage later.
Okay, next, let's look at to bring out, specifically in the context of qualities.
Revealing traits.
This means to cause a particular type of behavior or sentiment to appear, often highlighting the best or worst in someone. It has recently dawned on us that we bring out the worst in each other. Implies a toxic relationship.
Yeah, not a good dynamic.
Conversely, it really has brought out the optimist in him, suggests a positive influence. It captures the transformative impact that relationships or experiences can have on a person's character.
To bring out illuminates that dynamic interplay between individuals and their environment. It signifies how certain situations or people can act as catalysts, revealing latent aspects of one's personality.
Like the example with teenagers.
Right. The parent discussing teenagers stating, "Bringing up teenagers, take my word for it, it brings out the worst in you." That speaks to a universal challenge where even the most patient individuals can be pushed to their limits.
Understandable.
It demonstrates the intense impact of interpersonal dynamics on personal growth and self-perception. It's a powerful reminder of how much we influence each other.
Shifting to a cautionary note now, let's discuss complacency.
Dangerous territory.
This is a state of being too satisfied with oneself, feeling no need to improve or worry. It carries a strong negative connotation. We can't afford to be complacent. There's too much at stake, is a clear warning against overconfidence.
Don't rest on your laurels.
Similarly, since he has been top of the class, he's become complacent about his exams, highlights the danger of underestimating challenges just because you've had past success.
Complacency is a significant pitfall both in personal development and organizational success. It stems from this false sense of security, leading to a stagnation of effort and a blindness to potential threats or changes.
Taking success for granted.
Exactly, rather than continuously striving for improvement. The phrase serves as a powerful reminder that even after achieving success, vigilance and continuous effort are necessary to maintain one's position or to keep progressing. It's often the quiet killer of potential.
Now, for something decidedly unflattering, to be the laughingstock.
Oof, not a good position to be in.
No. This means to be the person, team, or country whom everyone makes fun of, especially when they were previously respected or successful. We have been the laughingstock of world tennis for far too long, implies national shame and frustration.
A fall from grace.
And the goings-on which have recently come to light have made him the laughingstock of the theater, speaks to public ridicule and a seriously damaged reputation.
Laughingstock conveys a profound sense of public humiliation and loss of prestige. It's often reserved for situations where someone or something once held in high regard has fallen dramatically, becoming an object of widespread derision.
Like the musician example.
Right. The musician facing critics who say, people have said it's bland and that you have become the laughingstock of the classical world. That illustrates the challenge of navigating such severe public criticism and the drastic shift in perception that can happen. It's a particularly painful position to be in.
Moving from reputation to practical smarts, let's define streetwise.
Knowing the ropes. Practical intelligence.
This describes a person who, through experience, is aware of life's dangers and risks and knows who not to trust. Saying my brother isn't streetwise is an understatement. Any fool could take him in. Points to a lack of that practical intelligence, maybe naivety, vulnerable.
Well, conversely, survival in this city boils down to how streetwise you are, emphasizes its importance for navigating complex, maybe rough environments.
Streetwise captures a form of practical intelligence that often contrasts sharply with academic knowledge or book smarts. It's about learned survival skills, the ability to read situations quickly, and an intuitive understanding of human behavior, especially in less formal or even dangerous settings.
Like the musician claiming he'd become more streetwise.
Exactly. His claim that he's become more streetwise reflects a personal growth arc. It indicates he has learned valuable, maybe tough, lessons from real-world experiences, distinguishing himself from others, perhaps, from his musical background, who haven't got a clue about what's going on in the world.
So it's a different kind of education?
Often hard-earned, yes. A different, very practical kind of education. Finally, for this chapter, we have to waffle on.
Oh, we all know someone who does this.
Probably. It means to talk a lot without saying anything significant, to digress, or just be unnecessarily verbose. He waffled on, drawing out his speech for almost an hour, indicates a tedious, pointless presentation.
Rambling.
And in an academic context, most students who fail the exam do so because instead of sticking to the task in hand, they waffle on. Points to a lack of clarity or preparation, maybe trying to fill space.
To waffle is definitely a pejorative term for rambling communication. It indicates a lack of focus, substance, or maybe even respect for the listener's time.
Yeah, it can be frustrating to listen to.
In professional and academic settings, this behavior is perceived very negatively because it suggests an inability to articulate ideas clearly or to present concise, relevant information. It undermines credibility and can lead to frustration. It's basically the opposite of getting to the gist.
Understanding emotions, problems, and personalities.
Welcome to Chapter 4. Here we'll delve into expressions concerning emotions, deep-seated problems, and maybe hidden personalities. Let's start with to get to the bottom of something.
Right, finding the root cause.
This phrase implies a deep, almost detective-like effort, doesn't it? To resolve a long-standing problem or find the true reason behind a confusing situation. We'll have to get to the bottom of this issue, suggests a commitment to thorough investigation.
No superficial answers.
Or, deep down, she still feels that the doctors haven't got to the bottom of her illness, conveys this persistent underlying concern that the real cause hasn't been found.
To get to the bottom of something implies a methodical and persistent inquiry, seeking root causes rather than just addressing symptoms. It's about uncovering the fundamental truth, which, as you say, can be a challenging and time-consuming process.
Used when a quick fix isn't enough.
Exactly. Used when a superficial understanding is insufficient and a comprehensive resolution is sought, whether it's a medical mystery or a complex organizational problem. It's a journey for clarity and resolution.
Moving to emotional states, distraught. D-I-S-T-R-A-U-G-H-T. This means extremely worried or distressed.
A very strong emotion.
Yeah, this isn't just fleeting anxiety. It conveys a deep, consuming level of worry that can really overwhelm a person. She has enough on her plate. This latest piece of news must have made her even more distraught. Paints a picture of intense emotional burden.
Pushed to the limit.
A book review might mention A Summer Too Late is about a distraught teenager, indicating a profound emotional struggle at the heart of the story.
Distraught captures a state of emotional turmoil, where one's capacity to cope is severely challenged. It suggests a level of distress that goes way beyond simple worry, bordering on a state of being overwhelmed and unable to function normally.
Very impactful word.
It is. This term is impactful because it immediately communicates the intensity of the emotional suffering, highlighting a crisis of composure. It's a word that truly conveys a person at their emotional limit.
Now, for a phrase about unconventional pleasure, to get a kick out of something.
Finding enjoyment in unusual places.
Right. This means to enjoy or get special pleasure from doing something, often something unusual, maybe dangerous, or something that others might not enjoy at all. It baffles me as to how some people get a kick out of breaking the law, points to a perplexing enjoyment of illicit activities.
Hard to understand sometimes.
Or, perhaps more darkly, he clearly gets a kick out of treating people like dogs' bodies. Describes a cruel satisfaction derived from mistreating others.
To get a kick out of something often describes a pleasure derived from activities that are socially questionable, risky, or even, as you said, malevolent. It highlights a particular, often perverse, source of enjoyment that stands apart from conventional happiness.
Gives a glimpse into motivation.
It does. It offers a glimpse into motivations that others might find difficult to comprehend, revealing an inclination towards actions that might be considered rebellious, boundary-pushing, or even harmful. It makes you wonder what truly motivates some people.
Okay, next, we have a very evocative idiom for futility. To bang one's head against a brick wall.
Oh, the frustration in that image.
Exactly. This means to get nowhere, or to feel ignored or not listened to despite persistent effort. It's often used with like, trying to get through to my husband that he must raise his fees is like banging my head against a brick wall, perfectly illustrates profound frustration and a sense of being utterly ineffective in communication.
Zero progress.
Or simply, I feel like I'm banging my head against a brick wall, just expressing that feeling.
This idiom vividly conveys a sense of utter futility and powerlessness. It speaks to a situation where your efforts are met with insurmountable resistance, whether it's an unyielding person or an immovable obstacle.
Very exhausting.
It describes a deep-seated frustration stemming from a perceived lack of progress, despite persistent and often exhausting endeavors. It signifies a point of impasse, where continued effort seems pointless, leaving you feeling truly defeated.
Now, for someone full of surprises, a dark horse.
Intriguing term.
This is a person whom no one really knows much about, but who later reveals themselves to be different and maybe more interesting than first thought, or someone who unexpectedly exceeds expectations in a competition. Once you draw him out of his shell, you'll see he's quite a dark horse.
Hidden depths.
It captures that element of surprise and hidden potential, suggesting a deeper, more intriguing personality than initially perceived.
A dark horse is all about concealed capabilities and unexpected triumphs. It introduces an element of surprise, often challenging preconceived notions about an individual or entity.
Can apply to people or even things like teams.
Absolutely. It's a term that signifies a hidden depth or a latent talent that, once revealed, can dramatically alter perceptions and outcomes, whether in personal interactions or competitive arenas. It encourages us to look beyond initial appearances and expect the unexpected. Makes for a fascinating discovery when you find one.
Our final phrase for this chapter indicates a complete lack of defense. To have a leg to stand on.
Right. No justification.
This means to have no defense at all to an alleged crime or accusation. It implies a total lack of justification or supporting evidence for your position. Most of us think he hasn't a leg to stand on and should change his plea.
A weak case.
It suggests that the person's position is completely indefensible, signaling impending failure in an argument or a legal case.
To have a leg to stand on directly relates to the concept of logical and evidentiary support for an argument or claim. When someone doesn't have a leg to stand on, it means their position is utterly without merit or factual backing.
Undermines their credibility.
Completely. This phrase highlights the importance of having solid justification for one's assertions, as a lack of it can lead to inevitable defeat or the inability to withstand scrutiny. It speaks to the fundamental requirement for a credible defense in any contentious situation.
Expressions of extremity, change, and reality.
Okay, let's jump into Chapter 5. Here we explore expressions of extremity, sudden change, and sometimes stark reality. Kicking us off is the very colloquial, to do one's head in.
Ah, very common, this one. Very informal.
Right. It means to drive one mad or crazy, conveys extreme annoyance or frustration. Winter really does my head in is a relatable complaint for many.
That feeling of being utterly fed up.
Or, more intensely, it's really doing my head in, indicating a breaking point of exasperation.
This slang expression perfectly captures a feeling of intense, often overwhelming, irritation or mental fatigue. It implies that something is so annoying or confusing that it pushes you to the brink of losing control or sanity.
Very expressive.
It is. It's a strong, informal way to express profound frustration, often used when an external factor is causing significant mental strain. It's that feeling when you're just about to pull your hair out.
Next, we have fiasco. F-I-A-S-C-O, a word for utter failure, disaster, or chaos.
A complete mess.
He got a lot of stick for the show he put on last year. It turned out to be a fiasco. It implies a complete and often very public failure, a situation that went spectacularly wrong.
Embarrassing failure.
His poor attention to detail will soon lead to another organizational fiasco, suggests incompetence leading to predictable disaster.
Fiasco conveys a sense of widespread failure, often accompanied by a public embarrassment or mockery. It's more than just a setback. It's a monumental flop, typically resulting from poor planning, poor execution, or both.
Like the Kosovo example.
Right. In the news report from Kosovo, where both sides are making a mockery of the aid program, the implied failure contributes to a sense of a larger fiasco, indicating ineffectiveness and public disillusionment. It's a powerful word for describing catastrophic outcomes where everything just completely falls apart.
Moving to personal states. Jaded. J-A-D-E-D.
Feeling worn out.
Yeah. Tired and fed up, often from overwork or maybe disillusionment. I'm feeling jaded and could do with a rest is a classic expression of weariness.
You've all been there.
Or his response sounded a bit jaded, suggesting a lack of enthusiasm or spark in his reply. It's about being drained, both physically and emotionally, reaching a point where things just don't excite you anymore.
Jaded describes a state of emotional and mental fatigue that often comes from repeated exposure to something, leading to a loss of enthusiasm or excitement. It implies a weariness that goes beyond simple tiredness. Suggests a degree of disillusionment.
Applies to jobs, relationships.
Absolutely. It can apply to individuals feeling burnt out from their jobs or to responses that lack vitality due to prolonged effort or cynicism. It's that moment when even something you used to love just leaves you feeling flat.
Now, for a crucial aspect of realism, to be under no illusions.
Facing reality head-on.
This means to know and understand what is really happening rather than imagining things. To be realistic. I'm under no illusions. I know that meeting my mother will bring out the worst in him, shows a clear-eyed acceptance of a difficult reality.
No sugarcoating.
We make it clear. We're acting under no illusions, emphasizes a collective commitment to realism, maybe in a business plan or something.
To be under no illusions emphasizes a clear, unvarnished perception of reality. Without self-deception or wishful thinking, it's about facing facts, no matter how harsh they might be.
Like in the Kosovo report again.
Exactly. The statement, the public back home should be under no illusions, neither side is going to back down without a fight. That powerfully conveys the stark realities of a conflict and the need for clear understanding in complex, often brutal situations. It urges an objective assessment, stripping away any rose-tinted glasses.
Related to fiasco, we have to make a mockery of.
Undermining something completely.
This means to make something appear worthless or ridiculous, often by exposing its flaws or by acting in a way that undermines its legitimacy. He took advantage of a loophole which made a complete mockery of the law, highlights how a system can be rendered ineffective or absurd.
Shows the system isn't working.
Or, if someone as thick as he is can pass, it will make a mockery of the exam, implies a severe lowering of standards that devalues the achievement for everyone.
To make a mockery of carries a strong sense of disrespect and a devaluing of something previously considered legitimate or serious. It implies that actions or circumstances have rendered something absurd or contemptible.
Loses credibility.
Precisely. This phrase highlights how standards or principles can be undermined, leading to a loss of credibility and public trust. It points to a situation where the intended purpose is subverted, making the entire endeavor seem ridiculous, almost like a bad joke.
Lastly, for this chapter, some colorful colloquialisms. To be off one's head, or off one's rocker, or out of one's mind.
Meaning crazy or mad, basically.
Right. These all mean crazy or mad, often used informally and sometimes humorously, to describe eccentric or foolish behavior. You must have been off your head trying to rubber up the wrong way implies extreme foolishness or recklessness.
What were you thinking?
Or, when discussing having a fourth child, one mother exclaims, "She must be off her head." It's a vivid way to express disbelief or strong opinion about someone's judgment. Seems like a lot of work.
Indeed. These expressions are definitely colloquial and often used to convey a strong sense of disbelief, or to playfully describe someone's irrational or unconventional behavior. They indicate a deviation from what's considered normal or sensible, usually without implying actual mental illness, more like a temporary lapse in judgment or an eccentric inclination.
Adds a bit of spice to the language.
It does. They add a touch of informal vividness to everyday conversations, giving you a strong, immediate reaction without being overly formal.
Navigating communication and conflicts.
Okay, moving into Chapter 6, we're diving into how we navigate communication and conflicts. Let's start with to take someone through something.
Explaining step by step.
Yeah, exactly. It means to describe a situation or explain something to someone in a clear, often step-by-step manner. A policeman might say, "Take me through exactly what was going on in your mind," requesting a detailed account.
Getting the full picture.
A sports commentator might ask a footballer, "Can you take us through your second goal?" It's about a structured, guided explanation.
This phrase implies a methodical process of explanation, guiding the listener through information in a digestible format. It's incredibly useful in various contexts, from professional briefings where clarity is essential to personal anecdotes where narrative flow matters.
Choice competence.
It suggests a speaker who is competent at breaking down complex information into understandable segments, ensuring the listener gains a complete picture. It's like being led by the hand through a maze of information.
Next, let's explore to shift, especially when talking about attitudes.
A subtle change.
This means to change one's direction or belief, often subtly but significantly. The new government are playing down the fact that their objectives have shifted since taking office, implies a quiet change in policy, maybe trying not to draw attention to it.
A gradual move.
More broadly, there has definitely been a shift in attitudes. Signals a change in public opinion or general sentiment over time. It conveys a gradual yet impactful alteration rather than a dramatic overhaul.
To shift captures a nuanced form of change. It's not an abrupt U-turn, but a subtle yet discernible movement in direction, perspective, or belief. It's often used to describe evolutionary changes in public opinion, political stances, or market trends.
Describes change without being overly dramatic.
Exactly. This term helps articulate how dynamic situations evolve without resorting to dramatic overstatements, highlighting gradual but significant transformations. It's like watching a landscape slowly change over time, almost imperceptibly day to day, but with profound results eventually.
From broad changes to minor conflicts, skirmish, skirmish.
A small fight or disagreement.
Right. It refers to a small fight or a minor battle, but it can also mean a minor disagreement. This resulted in countless skirmishes all over the capital, indicates widespread small-scale conflicts, maybe protests.
Not a full-scale riot, but lots of small incidents.
Politically, it was a foregone conclusion that there would be a few skirmishes between the parties during the run-up to the election. Refers to minor ideological clashes or arguments.
Skirmish is a useful term for describing conflicts that are limited in scale, often contained or less severe than full-blown battles or major disputes. It helps differentiate minor disagreements or localized confrontations from larger, more enduring conflicts.
Like the email example.
Right. In the email from John to Martin, where Tim got involved in a skirmish with another guy in a pub, It sort of normalizes a pub fight into a recognizable, albeit minor, dispute. Highlights how the term applies to everyday conflicts that aren't quite full-blown wars.
Now for a feeling. Unnerving. UNNERVING.
Makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah, frightening or worrying, causing one to feel nervous or uneasy. I must say, I find the upsurge in yobbish behavior in modern society to be rather unnerving, expresses apprehension about social trends.
A sense of things not being right.
The journey up the mountain road was a bit unnerving, conveys that sense of unease or apprehension. It's more subtle than outright fear, but still unsettling. A feeling that something just isn't quite right, maybe a bit dangerous.
Unnerving describes a psychological state of disquiet or apprehension, where you feel a subtle but persistent sense of threat or discomfort. It's less about direct fear and more about a feeling of instability or unpredictability that shakes your composure.
Makes your hair stand on end a bit.
Exactly. This term is particularly useful for describing situations that, while not immediately dangerous, generate an underlying sense of unease and tension. Makes the hairs on your neck stand up just a little.
Next, let's consider to undermine.
Weakening something or someone gradually.
Yes. This means to ridicule someone or something, or to make someone in a position of authority feel worthless or weak. It's often an insidious process. Confidence in our sporting ability has been undermined, suggests a gradual erosion of trust or belief.
Chipping away at it.
When someone tells you you've been undermining me all these years, it conveys a long-standing, often subtle effort to erode their authority or self-worth. Very damaging.
To undermine implies a gradual, often subtle, process of erosion that weakens confidence, authority, or credibility. It's about chipping away at someone's foundation or legitimacy rather than a direct frontal assault.
More insidious.
It is. This phrase highlights the destructive potential of actions that chip away at respect and trust, often leading to a loss of power or effectiveness over time. It points to a nuanced form of sabotage or devaluation, like a slow drip of negativity.
From undermining to simplifying,
Yeah.
maybe oversimplifying, to dumb down. This is a term often used critically.
Yes, usually implies disapproval.
It means to make something intellectually demanding easy or undemanding, usually to appeal to a wider, less sophisticated audience, and it's generally seen as a negative thing. The subjects they're teaching our teenagers have been dramatically dumbed down, suggests a lowering of educational standards.
Sacrificing depth for accessibility.
And many of the quality newspapers are guilty of dumbing down, critiques media that perhaps sacrifices detailed analysis for more clicks or readers.
To dumb down carries a strong pejorative connotation. It implies a deliberate compromise of intellectual rigor or quality for the sake of mass appeal. It's a critical commentary on the perceived lowering of standards in fields like education or media.
Highlights attention.
It does. This phrase highlights a tension between accessibility and intellectual integrity, suggesting that attempts to broaden appeal can come at the cost of depth and critical thinking. It's often heard with a sigh of resignation or a note of frustration.
Okay, for expressing disapproval informally, we have not on.
Simple, direct, but strong.
Yeah. This colloquial phrase means not acceptable behavior. We won't stand for such blatant racism in this company. It's just not on. It's a strong declaration of unacceptability.
Absolutely clear boundary.
Or telling her she had a grating laugh was not really on conveys a clear sense of social impropriety, even if less serious. It's direct, concise, and conveys a firm boundary.
Not on is an informal yet emphatic way to convey strong disapproval of behavior. It's direct and leaves no room for misinterpretation regarding what is deemed unacceptable. This phrase is very common in everyday conversation, demonstrating how informal language can still carry significant weight in expressing social or ethical boundaries. It's a clear line in the sand.
Now, for a positive turn, to make a comeback.
Returning to success or fashion.
Right. This means to be successful again after a long break, or maybe to become fashionable again. It was a foregone conclusion that he wouldn't be able to make a comeback, expresses pessimism about a failed return attempt.
Doubting their chances.
But it also applies to trends. The miniskirt is making a comeback, indicating renewed popularity in fashion. It speaks to narratives of redemption, resurgence, or cyclical trends.
To make a comeback encapsulates those stories of resilience, reinvention, and renewed success after a period of decline or absence. It's about overcoming challenges to regain prominence, whether in a career, a sport, or even in fashion and cultural trends.
We love a comeback story.
We do. This phrase often evokes a sense of triumph and renewed relevance, appealing to our innate appreciation for narratives of redemption and a good underdog story.
Our final phrase for this chapter is slim chances.
Not very likely at all.
No. This means not very likely, and it's generally used with chances or odds. The chances of the government being reelected are very slim, indicates low probability.
Looking doubtful.
Similarly, when a teacher says the odds of a student being shortlisted for Oxford are very slim, I'm afraid, it conveys a strong sense of improbability, often leading to what's called a bitter pill to swallow, a difficult truth to accept.
Slim chances powerfully conveys a high degree of improbability, often leading to a sense of resignation or disappointment. It signals that the odds are significantly stacked against a favorable outcome. This phrase is used when a positive result, while not technically impossible, is highly unlikely, preparing the listener for a less-than-ideal scenario. It's that feeling of looking at a mountain you probably won't climb.
Dealing with personal challenges and societal issues.
Okay, let's begin Chapter 7. This deals with personal challenges and societal issues. We'll start by looking at paralytic. P-A-R-A-L-Y-T-I-C.
Slang for very drunk.
Yes, very drunk. And it carries a strong connotation of extreme intoxication, often leading to negative consequences. When I was young, I didn't go around getting paralytic every Friday night, suggests a disapproval of excessive drinking, perhaps by an older generation.
Implying loss of control.
Similarly, she got paralytic at the summer office party, immediately implies a memorable, likely regrettable event.
Paralytic is indeed a vivid slang term. It conveys a complete loss of physical control due to extreme drunkenness. It's often used to describe situations where one's judgment is severely impaired, frequently leading to embarrassing or problematic situations.
Not a good look.
Definitely not. This term highlights the significant negative impact of over-intoxication on behavior and public perception, often bringing undesirable consequences. It paints a very clear, if unflattering, picture.
Moving to something long about intoxication and more about, well, sheer astonishment. To beggar belief description.
Beyond belief, beyond words.
Exactly. This hyperbolic phrase means to be too extraordinary to be believed or described. If your father, known for being quite prudish, suddenly criticizes you for being prudish, your reaction might be, I know, it does beggar belief, doesn't it? Total surprise.
Utterly unexpected.
Or, the sight of him groveling to the boss beggar's description suggests a level of sycophancy, of sucking up, that defies words. It conveys extreme amazement or shock.
This phrase is a powerful rhetorical device used to express utter astonishment or an inability to adequately capture the magnitude of something in words. It implies that the event or situation is so astounding or outrageous that it strains the limits of credibility or linguistic expression.
Used for dramatic effect.
Typically, yes. Used for dramatic effect, signaling an experience that is truly beyond the ordinary, leaving you speechless.
Next, to sap, S-A-P.
To weaken or drain.
Yes, to weaken or take away one's strength, energy, or confidence. It implies a gradual draining of resources. As the years go by, I find my job sapping more and more of my strength. Describes a slow but persistent depletion.
Feeling drained over time.
Similarly, you will feel jaded and sapped of energy, indicates a state of exhaustion where vitality has been steadily eroded. It applies to both physical and emotional resources.
To sap effectively conveys a gradual, often insidious depletion of vital resources. It's about a slow erosion of strength, energy, or confidence rather than a sudden loss. This phrase highlights the cumulative effect of prolonged stress, challenging circumstances, or demanding tasks that steadily drain an individual's reserves, leading to that state of being jaded or diminished.
Like a slow leak.
Exactly like a slow leak in a tire. You don't notice it moment by moment, but eventually you're completely flat.
From draining to retaliating. To give someone a taste of their own medicine.
Payback time.
Right. An idiom that refers to doing to someone what they often do to others. Usually a negative expression, but not always incredibly serious. She usually gets a kick out of being nasty to people. This time, I've given her a taste of her own medicine, implies a form of poetic justice or payback. Turning the tables.
But in the train conversation example, when one friend says, I'm thinking about giving you a taste of your own medicine for bringing an annoying political activist to a party, it shows how it can also be used in friendly banter, implying a lighthearted revenge.
This idiom is fundamentally about reciprocity, often in a retaliatory sense, where an individual experiences the same negative treatment they inflict on others. While it can imply a serious form of revenge, as you pointed out, it's also frequently used in more lighthearted or humorous contexts to suggest a fair exchange of discomfort or annoyance.
What goes around comes around.
Exactly. It highlights the principle of what goes around comes around, offering a sense of justified payback, sometimes delivered with a wry smile. Okay, when facing claims or beliefs, skeptical. SEEPTICAL or SKEPTICAL, depending on where you are.
Doubting, questioning.
Describes a non-believing or non-trusting attitude. I'm still very skeptical about whether he's the right person for the job. Expresses doubt about someone's suitability.
Need more convincing.
Why are you so skeptical? Can't you see that we are already beginning to reap the rewards? Challenges that questioning attitude. It implies a critical approach, demanding proof or further evidence before acceptance.
Skeptical embodies a critical and questioning mindset, a disinclination to accept claims at face value. It's about intellectual caution, often stemming from past experiences, or a desire for concrete evidence.
Healthy skepticism.
Ideally, yes. This term highlights the importance of critical thinking in a world saturated with information, encouraging listeners to evaluate claims rather than passively accepting them. It's a healthy skepticism, hopefully not outright cynicism.
We discussed dark horse earlier, and it really bears revisiting here too.
The surprise contender or personality?
Right. It refers to a person who no one truly knows, but who later reveals themselves to be different and more interesting than first thought. Or, crucially, who exceeds expectations in a competition or election. Once you draw him out of his shell, you'll see he's quite a dark horse. This phrase always carries that element of surprise and hidden potential.
Revisiting dark horse allows us to emphasize its dual nature, not only describing someone with surprising hidden depths in their personality, but also a competitor whose capabilities are underestimated, leading to an unexpected victory.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Exactly. It reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and that potential often lies hidden beneath an unassuming exterior.
For a fresh start, we have to turn over a new leaf.
Making a positive change, starting anew.
This means to change one's character or behavior for the better, signifying a positive transformation and a commitment to improvement. I can't envisage him turning over a new leaf. He's getting on for 70, expresses pessimism about an old dog learning new tricks, perhaps.
Doubting the capacity for change.
Conversely, I think it's time you turned over a new leaf and stuck up for yourself. Suggests a powerful, positive personal change is needed.
To turn over a new leaf is about intentional self-improvement, a conscious decision to adopt more positive behaviors or attitudes. It's a powerful idiom for personal growth, implying a fresh beginning and a break from past negative patterns.
Hope for a better future.
Exactly. It speaks to the human capacity for change and the hope for a better future, emphasizing a deliberate commitment to transformation, a true fresh start.
And returning to a familiar frustration, to bang one's head against a brick wall.
We meet again, the feeling of getting nowhere.
Yes. Again, this vividly means to get nowhere, to feel ignored or not listened to, despite persistent efforts. Trying to get through to my husband is like banging my head against a brick wall. Perfectly illustrates the deep frustration and sense of being stuck or ineffective when communicating with someone unwilling to listen or change.
This repeated phrase continues to underscore that profound sense of frustration and futility when one's efforts are consistently met with resistance or indifference. It's a powerful metaphor for unproductive endeavors.
Especially in communication.
Especially in communication where you feel utterly unheard or ineffective in influencing another's perspective. It highlights situations where persistence yields absolutely no progress, leading to emotional exhaustion. It's a feeling many of us know all too well.
Finally, for this chapter, a very positive verb. To thrive, Thrive.
Flourishing, prospering, doing really well.
Yes. This means to succeed, do well, or prosper. It also applies to greatly enjoying something, emphasizing not just survival, but flourishing. Our marriage is thriving, indicates great success in health and a relationship.
Growing strong.
And then I thrive on chocolate and cakes. Humorously emphasizes a strong enjoyment, almost a dependency, on something pleasurable.
Yes. To thrive denotes robust growth, prosperity, and vitality. It implies a dynamic state of flourishing, not just getting by or surviving. Its application to strong enjoyment, as in thriving on chocolate, extends its meaning beyond mere success to a deep sense of satisfaction and nourishment, whether literal or metaphorical.
Optimal performance?
It represents a state of optimal performance and well-being, indicating something that is robustly healthy and successful. It's about going beyond just existing.
Assessing situations and personalities.
All right, let's move into Chapter 8. This one focuses on assessing situations and personalities, starting with sloppy.
Careless, lacking precision.
Yes. This adjective means careless or too casual, often in a negative sense. It indicates a lack of precision or diligence. We need tighten up on sloppy work is a clear directive to improve quality in a workplace.
Raising standards.
A football manager might critique, our sloppy defense didn't help matters, pointing to careless performance that led to problems, maybe goals conceded.
Sloppy immediately signals a lack of attention to detail, diligence, or quality. It implies a casual approach that results in imperfections or errors. This term is applicable in both professional contexts, where it can indicate unprofessionalism or low standards, and in everyday situations, where it describes a lack of care in execution.
Undermines effectiveness.
It does. It highlights a deficit in precision that can undermine effectiveness, like a loose thread pulling apart a carefully woven fabric.
Now, a reflective phrase, in hindsight.
Looking back with wisdom.
Right. This means looking back after an event with the benefit of knowing what actually happened. In hindsight, we should have phased out the asylum laws a long time ago, acknowledges a past mistake, or suggests a better path with newfound wisdom.
If only we knew then what we know now.
In hindsight, I must admit we could have dealt with the problem differently, allows for self-correction based on experience. It emphasizes the reflective nature of learning from the past.
In hindsight, introduces a critical retrospective analysis, acknowledging that with more information or seeing the consequences, different choices could or should have been made. It's a crucial phrase for learning from experience.
Identifying mistakes.
Exactly. Enabling one to identify mistakes or missed opportunities without the pressure of real-time decision-making. It highlights the value of reflection and the lessons that can only be truly understood once the full consequences of actions have unfolded. It's the clarity that only comes with distance.
When dealing with past difficulties, to put something behind you is vital.
Moving on. Letting go.
Yes. This means to forget about a bad experience and move forward. It's a psychological process of letting go and healing. I think we should put the turmoil of the last year behind us, suggests a collective effort to overcome past difficulties and look forward.
A conscious decision to move forward.
It's probably best that you put that period of your life behind you, offers advice for personal healing and moving on from a tough time.
To put something behind you describes an act of emotional and mental closure, essential for psychological well-being and future progress. It's about consciously choosing to disengage from past negative experiences to prevent them from hindering your present and future.
Resilience again.
It underscores the importance of resilience and the ability to adapt by letting go of what can no longer be changed, allowing you to focus on new beginnings. It's about not letting the past dictate your future.
Tastes and opinions can change over time, and to grow on someone captures this perfectly.
Becoming more likable gradually.
Right. It means to become gradually more pleasing or likable to someone. At first, you may find his mother's cooking rather bland, but it's likely to grow on you, suggests that initial impressions might evolve with time or familiarity.
Acquiring a taste for it.
Similarly, I used to think he was a bit pompous, but he's definitely grown on me over the years. Indicates a shift in personal perception, maybe seeing past the surface.
To grow on someone illustrates the dynamic nature of preferences in relationships. It suggests an evolution from initial indifference or even mild dislike to eventual acceptance or affection. This phrase speaks to the power of sustained exposure and the development of deeper understanding or appreciation over time, whether for food, music, or a person's character.
Shows opinions aren't set in stone.
Exactly. It shows how opinions are rarely fixed.
Now for practicality. Viable, V-I-A-B-L-E.
Practical, workable, feasible.
Yes. This adjective means practical, able to work in practice, or feasible and sustainable. I didn't think he had it in him to come up with so many viable ideas, assesses the practicality and potential success of proposals.
Pleasantly surprised by the good ideas.
I agreed it wasn't really viable. Dismisses an idea as impractical or unlikely to succeed. It's a crucial term for evaluating plans, projects, or solutions, particularly in terms of their real-world applicability.
Viable is fundamentally about feasibility and practicality. It questions whether a plan or solution can genuinely succeed in a real-world context, considering all practical constraints and potential outcomes.
Like in the TV debate example.
Exactly. In the television debate regarding asylum seekers, the question, does the panel think that putting them in detention centers is a viable option, directly connects this term to policy debates. It compels a rigorous assessment of the practical solutions and their potential for success or failure. It asks if something can truly stand on its own 2 feet and work.
From practicality to presentation, to flaunt, F-L-A-U-N-T.
Showing off, often excessively.
Yes. It means to show something off, especially wealth or physical attractiveness, often in an ostentatious or immodest way. His philosophy towards life is, if you've got it, flaunt it. Is a direct expression of this mindset, maybe unapologetic.
Bold approach.
She just flaunts her legs at them. Describes a deliberate display aimed at attracting attention. It implies a desire to draw attention, sometimes to an excessive degree, almost an unapologetic display.
To flaunt describes a deliberate and often ostentatious display, usually of something desirable like wealth, beauty, or success. It implies a certain vanity or a desire to elicit admiration, envy, or attention through overt exhibition.
Carries a slightly negative feel sometimes.
Often, yes. This phrase often carries a slightly negative connotation, suggesting immodesty or a lack of subtlety in one's self-presentation. It's often about wanting to be noticed, perhaps a little too much.
Okay, when something isn't up to standard, we can say it leaves a lot to be desired.
A polite way of saying it's not good enough.
Exactly. It means to be not good enough or unsatisfactory. It's a polite but firm way of expressing dissatisfaction. The percussion leaves a lot to be desired, indicates poor musical performance without being overly harsh.
Needs improvement.
His math especially leaves a lot to be desired, points to significant inadequacy in that area. This phrase allows for strong critique without resorting to blunt or overly aggressive language.
To leave a lot to be desired is a sophisticated way of delivering criticism. It implies that a situation, performance, or quality is significantly lacking without being explicitly harsh. It's an understatement, really, that, as we discussed earlier, conveys a strong negative opinion subtly.
Like in the TV debate again.
Yes, when used there stating, the government's recent policy on asylum leaves a lot to be desired, it serves as a powerful yet measured critique of policies or performance. It signals dissatisfaction and the need for improvement. It's a polite yet quite damning assessment.
Now, a phrase that highlights the difference between theory and practice, on paper.
Looks good in theory, but in reality.
Precisely. This means in theory, or according to records, often used with seems or looks to contrast with practical reality. On paper, the project looks viable, but in practice, we're bound to have some teething problems. Immediately brings to mind potential real-world obstacles.
Anticipating issues.
He seemed to be a good buy on paper, perhaps about a footballer, suggests initial promise based on stats or records that didn't materialize on the pitch.
On paper, sets up that immediate contrast between theoretical potential and practical reality. It's a vital phrase for critical analysis, encouraging a distinction between how things appear in a controlled or documented environment versus how they actually function in the messy complexity of the real world.
Where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly. It signals that while something might look good in planning, unforeseen challenges are likely to emerge during implementation.
Okay, for expressing happiness, we have the colloquial chuffed. C-H-U-F-F-E-D.
Pleased, delighted. Very British English, this one.
Yes, often heard more in the UK. It means to be pleased or delighted. We were so chuffed when we heard that Susan was pregnant. Expresses genuine joy and excitement.
A really positive feeling.
Chuffed is an understatement. Even implies an overwhelming level of happiness, almost like being ecstatic. It's an informal but widely understood term for a feeling of contentment and joy.
Chuffed is an informal yet highly expressive term for happiness. It conveys a sense of genuine pleasure and satisfaction. Its colloquial nature makes it a natural fit for everyday conversation, allowing for a relatable expression of positive emotions.
Simple but effective.
It is. It's a concise way to communicate delight without needing elaborate explanations. It's a wonderful, simple word for profound joy.
On the flip side of emotion, we have to be gutted. Gutted.
Devastated, extremely disappointed, also quite colloquial.
Right. This colloquial term means to be very disappointed or devastated, often used by sportsmen or their supporters after a significant loss. You must feel gutted after losing in the final, captures an intense sense of heartbreak and disappointment.
A crushing feeling.
Gutted. On its own, maybe in a text message, expresses profound disappointment succinctly.
To be gutted conveys an intense, visceral feeling of disappointment or devastation, almost as if you've been emotionally hollowed out. It's a very strong, informal term that resonates deeply, particularly in contexts where significant effort or hope was invested.
Like the friend in the example.
Yes. The example of the friend who was gutted about a football loss, but whose real issue was being skint, broke, and unable to go out. That demonstrates how this intense disappointment can sometimes mask other underlying issues, as a layer of psychological complexity. It's not just a little upset. It's a deep, profound sadness or disappointment.
Mindsets, flaws, and revelations.
Welcome to our final chapter, Chapter 9. Here we explore mindsets, inherent flaws, and unexpected revelations. Let's start with to psych oneself up for do something.
Mental preparation for a challenge.
Exactly. This means to prepare oneself mentally for a challenging situation. It requires a deliberate mental effort to face difficult tasks or interactions. I have to psych myself up to spend more than half an hour with my mother shows anticipating a potentially demanding encounter.
Getting in the right headspace.
You do need to psych yourself up for it, suggests a necessary mental preparation before tackling something tough.
To psych oneself up highlights a conscious and intentional mental process, preparing for an anticipated challenge. It involves building your confidence, your resolve, your focus to meet a difficult situation head-on.
Getting ready for battle.
In a way, yes. This phrase is vital for describing the mental fortitude required to tackle daunting tasks, whether it's a difficult conversation, a big presentation, or a demanding physical feat. It's about getting your mind ready.
Next, untoward. UNTOWARD.
Something wrong, unexpected, maybe suspicious?
Yes. Describes something wrong or unexpected, often carrying a sense of unease or suspicion. It indicates that something is amiss.
I thought there was something untoward when I saw the expression on her face. Immediately signals suspicion or concern.
A sign that things aren't right.
Conversely, nothing untoward was going on offers reassurance that everything is normal and in order. It's about a feeling that something is not quite right, a subtle red flag. Untoward refers to an event or circumstance that is undesirable, inappropriate, or out of the ordinary, often implying a subtle sense of wrongdoing or impending trouble. It creates an atmosphere of unease and suspicion, prompting a closer look at a situation.
Expresses a gut feeling.
Often, yes. This term is useful for expressing a gut feeling that something is amiss without making direct accusations, hinting at hidden problems that just feel off.
Now for a powerful negative emotion, to resent. RESENT.
Feeling bitter or indignant about something.
Yes. This means to feel bitter about someone or a situation, or to object strongly to a comment or accusation. My brother has always resented me for having had a better education than him, expresses long-standing bitterness or perceived unfairness.
Holding a grudge.
I resent that remark. His direct, forceful expression of offense. This strong negative emotion often stems from perceived unfairness or a personal slight.
To resent captures a deep, often simmering negative emotion rooted in a sense of injustice or ill treatment. It's more than just dislike. It's a feeling of bitterness or indignation towards a person or circumstance.
Like the student example.
Right. The student saying, I have to say, I really resent having to study for chemistry, perfectly illustrates how this feeling can arise from obligations or perceived unfairness in personal paths, maybe wishing they were doing something else. It signifies a profound emotional objection to a situation, a feeling that just won't go away easily.
Here's a colorful idiom. To have a bee in one's bonnet about something.
Obsessed with something, can't stop talking about it.
Exactly. This means to be preoccupied, obsessed with, or troubled by something, often leading to complaining about it persistently. She's got a bee in her bonnet about single mothers sponging off estate. Describes a persistent fixation on a social issue, perhaps unfairly.
A constant fixation.
She's still got a bee in her bonnet about her husband's string of affairs, indicates an enduring, often annoying for others, obsession with a personal grievance.
This idiom vividly describes a persistent, often annoying fixation on a particular issue, sometimes to the point of obsession. It implies that the person cannot let go of the concern, which often leads to repetitive complaining or bringing it up constantly.
Can be tiresome.
It can be. It highlights an individual's inability to move past a subject, reflecting a deep-seated preoccupation that can be tiresome for others. It's like a constant buzzing thought in their head that just won't be silenced.
On a more pessimistic note, to be doomed. D-O-M-E-D.
No hope. Destined to fail.
Yes. This means to have no means of escape from a very bad situation or to have no future or chance of success. Most people I know don't hold out much hope for this country. We're doomed. Expresses a strong sense of inevitability and pessimism, maybe hyperbolically.
A sense of hopelessness.
I told you the project was doomed from the start. Signifies a prediction of failure from the outset, implying an unavoidable negative outcome, perhaps due to fundamental flaws.
To be doomed conveys an absolute sense of inevitability regarding a negative outcome, leaving no room for hope or escape. It implies a predetermined failure or a hopeless future. This phrase is used when the circumstances appear to conspire against success, signaling a bleak and unavoidable conclusion, often reinforcing a pessimistic outlook.
Closes the door on possibility.
It really does. It's a word that truly closes the door on any possibility of success.
Okay. For a positive action, we have to put in a good word for someone.
Recommending someone, advocating for them.
Exactly. This means to recommend someone to another person or group, often regarding employment or opportunities. I was really chuffed to hear that John had put in a good word for me. Expresses gratitude for a helpful recommendation.
Opening a door for someone.
If she puts in a good word for you, he's bound to take you on. Highlights the power of endorsement and advocacy in networking and career advancement. It can make a real difference.
To put in a good word describes an act of advocacy and support, often leveraged through personal connections to benefit another's career or standing. It underscores the importance of reputation and personal networks in professional advancement.
A quiet but powerful gesture.
It really is. This phrase signifies a deliberate effort to endorse someone, influencing perceptions and opening doors they might not otherwise access easily.
From active support to passive disinterest. Apathy or apathetic. A-P-A-T-H-Y.
Lack of interest, motivation, or concern.
Right. Refers to a lack of interest or motivation, being uninterested or unconcerned. He resents his students not turning up to his lessons and puts it all down to pure apathy. Connects student disengagement to a lack of care or motivation.
They just don't care.
Sorry to sound apathetic, but I couldn't care less, is a blunt admission of indifference. It signifies a significant detachment or lack of engagement, particularly concerning important issues.
Apathy represents a profound absence of concern or motivation, a state of indifference that can have significant consequences, especially when applied to things like civic engagement, learning, or social issues. It highlights a detachment that prevents active participation or critical engagement.
More than just being casual.
Much more. This term is crucial for describing disinterest that goes beyond mere casualness, pointing to a deeper lack of care. It's a shrug of the shoulders when maybe you should be paying attention.
Okay, when something isn't perfect, it's flawed or has a flaw. F-L-A-W.
Imperfect, defective.
Yes. Means to be imperfect or to have faults, a defect or imperfection. Their plans for the company are flawed. Indicates a fundamental weakness in their strategy that might lead to failure.
A critical weakness.
They have one major flaw.
Yeah.
Identifies a specific critical defect. It implies an inherent weakness that can undermine effectiveness or lead to failure.
Flawed indicates an intrinsic defect or imperfection that renders something less than perfect or potentially undermines its functionality or success. It's about recognizing inherent weaknesses that can prevent success or lead to negative outcomes.
Like the student example again.
Right. The student's confession, "My arguments must have been flawed because I failed miserably," connects this term directly to critical self-assessment and understanding the reasons behind failure. Emphasizing the importance of identifying and addressing weaknesses in reasoning or execution, it's about seeing the crack in the foundation before it brings the whole thing down.
In a world of unverified claims, to allege, alleged, and allegedly are crucial terms. A-L-L-E-G-E.
Claiming something without proof, very important legally and journalistically.
Exactly. They mean to accuse, claim, or declare without proof, accused or supposedly. Often used carefully by the media for legal protection. It is alleged that the defendant pestered Miss Jones. Indicates an accusation that has not yet been proven in court.
Stating the claim, not the fact.
She alleges that her husband perpetually beat her, is a claim made by an individual, reported as such. It highlights journalistic and legal precision, indicating a claim that has not been substantiated or proven true yet.
To allege, and its derivatives are fundamental in legal and journalistic contexts because they allow for the reporting of claims without endorsing them as proven facts. This provides a crucial layer of protection against libel or slander while still informing the public about accusations.
Distinguishes claim from fact.
Precisely. It underscores the distinction between a claim and verified truth, which is essential for critical information consumption. It's about presenting information carefully, letting the facts emerge without jumping to conclusions.
Next, gut reaction.
Your immediate instinctive response.
Right. An immediate reaction or response based on instinct rather than careful consideration or logic. My gut reaction was to resent his accusations. Describes an initial, unfiltered emotional response.
Before you have time to think.
His outburst of anger was just a gut reaction. Implies the spontaneous, perhaps uncontrolled, instinctive display of emotion. It highlights the intuitive and often unfiltered nature of an initial response, which can sometimes lead to regret if not carefully considered afterwards.
Gut reaction captures the immediacy and spontaneity of an instinctive response, bypassing logical deliberation. It speaks to the intuitive, often subconscious processing of a situation. While sometimes accurate, as you say, it can also lead to regrettable actions if not followed by careful consideration. Emphasizes the tension between instinct and reasoned thought. It's that immediate feeling you get before your brain has a chance to catch up.
Okay, for informal, witty conversation, we have banter. B-A-N-T-E-R.
Lighthearted, teasing chat between friends or colleagues.
Yes. Chat, informal, witty conversation among friends. I used to enjoy the banter with the guys after the game. Describes enjoyable social interaction and camaraderie.
Builds rapport.
The banter in the office is excellent. Points to a positive, friendly, and engaging work environment. It's a hallmark of informal social interaction, creating a friendly and engaging atmosphere through humor and quick exchanges.
Banter signifies a dynamic and often playful form of social interaction characterized by quick wit and good-natured teasing. It's a key element of informal social bonding, demonstrating comfort and rapport between individuals. This term highlights the importance of humor and spontaneous conversational exchanges in building and maintaining friendships or good working relationships. It's the verbal tennis of good company.
And related to that spontaneity, to ad-lib or ad-libbed. A-D-L-I-B.
Making it up on the spot,
Yeah.
improvising.
To make something up on the spot or to speak publicly without preparation, improvised. My gut reaction was that I should ad-lib the speech indicates a spontaneous decision to speak without notes.
Speaking off the cuff.
Most of the banter on the TV show was ad-libbed, reveals the improvised, unscripted nature of the humor. It speaks to the skill involved in spontaneous communication, often perceived as a sign of quick wit, confidence, and intelligence.
To ad-lib showcases a remarkable level of quick thinking and verbal agility, often seen as a sign of natural talent in communication or performance. It implies an ability to perform or speak effectively without a script, relying purely on improvisation. This term highlights a skill much admired in public speaking, entertainment, and dynamic social interactions, demonstrating genuine confidence and presence of mind. It's effortless brilliance, or at least it looks that way.
Our very last phrase for this deep dive is to tar people with the same brush.
Unfair generalization, judging a whole group by the actions of a few.
Exactly. This powerful idiom means to unfairly claim a group of people have the same faults, associating good characters with a few bad ones just because they belong to the same group. It would be quite wrong to tar the whole class with the same brush. Cautions against unjust generalization based on a few troublemakers.
Important distinction to make.
Tarring all immigrants to this country with the same brush is ludicrous, highlights the prejudice and overgeneralization inherent in stereotypes. It's a crucial concept in critical thinking and social commentary, warning against unfair judgment and bias.
To tar people with the same brush is a vital idiom for discussing prejudice, stereotypes, and unfair generalizations. It calls attention to the intellectual laziness and injustice of attributing the negative characteristics of a few individuals to an entire group.
Like the student worrying about the teacher.
Precisely. The student worrying that their physics teacher has probably tarred all of us with the same brush because of some cheating incident perfectly illustrates how this can affect individuals. It underscores the challenges of overcoming preconceived notions and unfair stereotypes in educational or social settings. It's a stark reminder of the dangers of broad, lazy assumptions. Outro.
Wow, what a journey that was. Today we've taken a really deep dive into some truly advanced English.
We covered a lot of ground.
We really did. We've explored how subtle distinctions in vocabulary and these idiomatic expressions can totally transform your communication, make it more precise, more engaging.
And really reflective of a high level of fluency, that C1, C2 level.
Exactly. Each of these phrases and words we talked about, they're like building blocks in your C1, C2 journey. The more you immerse yourself in contexts where these expressions are used naturally, the more intuitive and, well, natural they'll become for you to use yourself.
And mastering these words and phrases, it isn't just about expanding your vocabulary list, is it?
No, much more than that.
It's about understanding the subtle layers of culture, nuance, and unspoken meaning embedded within the English language. It's about not just being understood, but being truly appreciated for your command of the language.
Allows you to engage more deeply.
Definitely. Allows you to engage more deeply in any conversation or professional setting. So as you reflect on today's deep dive, maybe consider which of these advanced expressions will be the first one you intentionally try to weave into your next conversation.
Good challenge.
Will it be, to nip something in the bud? Or maybe describe someone who rubs you up the wrong way?
Or perhaps show you're under no illusions about a situation. Lots to choose from. If you found this deep dive valuable, and we hope you did, we'd really encourage you to like this channel.
Yeah, please do. And share it with others who are passionate about advanced English.
And definitely subscribe to ensure you don't miss out on future deep dives.
Your support really helps us continue to bring you these in-depth explorations of language.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep diving deep.